What's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to give my full review for the ROG 5, otherwise known as the Republic of Gamers. Now I've had this device now for almost a month, and I will say right off the bat, for those of you that have a very short attention span, I highly recommend this device. This is a beast of a device. It has great battery life, great performance, great build quality. Just it's a lot of great things about this device that I'm going to share with you in this review. Keep in mind, this will not be a short review. It won't be no 9-10 minute review. There's way too many things to talk about with this device, and I cannot do it in 10 minutes. But for those of you that have very short attention spans, I definitely recommend this device. Highly recommend it. And I really love this device. Now, first, I'm going to get into all the things that I like, and then I'll get into the things that I don't like. Then I'll get into the software and all the settings and things like that. All right? So let's get started. The first thing that I like about this device is the design. Now, I'm going to keep this case on it, but you can still see it. Only reason why I'm keeping the case on is because this phone can be very, very slippery, and it's easier to handle this with a case on it. Now, most of you have already seen it, without the case, but I'll show it to you again. That's basically what it looks like. And the build quality is nice. Gorilla Glass Victus on the front, Gorilla Glass 3 on the back, an aluminum frame. I love this design. It's beautiful. I mean, it feels really good. It's not super slippery, and you're not going to get any fingerprints, but it's just easier to handle it with the case. So I like the design. Now, I know I just talked about the build quality, but the design is nice. It's nothing real crazy looking. It's pretty simple, laid back, but I mean, I like it. It looks like a gaming device. So I really like the design of the phone. Now, since I just talked about the build quality, that would be the next thing I would talk about, which I just did. Gorilla Glass Victus on the front, 3 on the back, aluminum frame. Has an excellent build quality. So if you're the type of person that don't like cases, you're going to like the way this feels in your hand. Okay. Now, the case I have on here is very light, and it's very, very comfortable, and it makes it easier to handle the device. I have to put that down in the description, but this is probably my favorite case. Now, I had a clear case on here when I first did my unboxing, and that case was nice, but this case is a little less bulk, and it's even more comfortable just in my hand overall. So I like this case the most. All right, next, let's talk about button placement. Now, button placement is not important to everybody, but it's definitely important to me. And the reason why I say that is because, Google, their button placement is just weird. How they put the power button above the volume rockers, which I don't understand why they do that. Makes no sense. Most people, every time they get ready to turn their phone off, the first thing they're pressing is the power button. So I'm not understanding their configuration of their button placement at all. But the button placement on this device is actually excellent. It's super low. I mean, look at this. Look at where my thumb is. Like my hand is totally relaxed. There's no stretching. Power button is right where it should be. Volume rockers just above it. Love the button placement. It is absolutely excellent. Okay. Next, let's talk about the secondary USB Type-C charging port, which is right here. Now, what happens is, say if your battery is getting super low and you want to still play, all you do is plug it in from the side and you keep on playing. Now, I'm not going to ever really use that, honestly, but it's there if you need it. Or say if you need to give somebody some juice, you need to charge your device, and they need to charge their device. You have a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, so you can both charge two devices at the same time. Now, the chance of you doing that is slim to none, but it's there. So I do like the fact that it has that secondary USB Type-C charging port. That's really nice. Next thing is the LED notification light. Now, at the moment, it's not flashing. It was flashing earlier, but it's right up here in the corner. And I like that because that's something that Samsung actually had. The last device they had that on was the Note 9, that LED notification sensor. So every time you got a notification, it'd be blinking. When you're charging your device, it's red, and then when it's fully charged, it turns green. And I like that. This has that. It's cool. You could turn it on or turn it off, but it's there if you want it. I like the fact that it's on this device, so that's cool. Next, let's talk about the always on display. As you can see, it's right there. My only issue, really, and this is nice, they give you 7 different ones to choose from. I'll show you that later when I get into the settings. And this one is nice. I just started using this one. I was using a different one before. Only problem I have with it is that it doesn't really get that bright. Like I'll give you an example. Like my Mi 11 Ultra. See how much brighter that is? This just doesn't get bright enough, and you can't change the brightness. I just wish they, put some type of software in here where you could at least make this brighter. I just prefer always on display where I could adjust the brightness. I just wish it had that capability. But I do love the fact that you do get always on display. You can see the battery percentage. You can see the date, day, time, of course, and your notifications right underneath. So that's cool. Next is the face unlock. Now the face unlock on here, let me see if it'll catch my face. Yep. You can see how fast that is. And I'm behind the camera. It's flawless. It's 100% accurate. Way better than Samsung. I'm sorry. It just is. At least the Samsung devices I have. Now I can't speak for the S22 Ultra, but the S21 and everything after that, or before, after that, this is better than Samsung's face unlock, because it's read my face every time. It don't, every now and then says face not detected. No, I don't get that on here. It opens up every single time, and I don't always have to look directly at it, and it catches my face and opens the device. So I love the face unlock on this device. Next, let's talk about the in-display fingerprint sensor. Now it's an optical one. It's right down here. Can't really see it that well unless you light the screen up, but all you do is press and hold, and it works every single time. Press and hold. Now it's not one of those you just touch like that and it opens up. No, it's not one of those fingerprint sensors. You put your finger on it and you hold. Just put your finger on it and hold. Comes right open. So I love the in-display fingerprint sensor. It's really good. Next, let's talk about the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Yes, a headphone jack that you get at the bottom of this device. I love that. Now you see how this gets bright once I move, moving around, but it doesn't stay. See, I wish it stayed bright like this at all times, or you had the option to make it bright or dimmer. If it stayed bright like this all the time, this would be a great always on display, but it doesn't do that. All right, but back again to the headphone jack. Now, the headphone jack is accompanied by a 32-bit quad DAC. And I'm telling you right now, it sounds awesome because the dual stereo speakers on this phone is awesome. So you got a quad DAC on here. Now, that reminds me of LG when they was putting quad DACs in their devices. This sounds just as good. It really, really is good. Next, let's talk about those dual front-facing stereo speakers. Now, that's what makes this great. You got, normally, with every phone, you get the speaker grill at the top, as you can see up there. But you're getting both speaker grills on the front of the device. Sorry if y'all having trouble seeing. See it right there? So there's no grill at the bottom, no grill at the top. They're literally front-facing stereo speakers. And I'm telling you right now, these speakers are absolutely amazing. It will blow your mind. And I want you to hear them. So I'm going to give you a sound test. I want you to hear how awesome these are. Now, you do have 2 different modes on this device. You got the regular mode when you're just playing your speaker, and then you got outdoor mode. So if you're outside, the speakers get even louder. But I'm going to start off with just the regular mode. Make sure it's maximum. There we go. So you can hear these speakers are no joke. Now, let me see if I go to outdoor mode. See it right here? Outdoor mode. It enhances the sound volume above certain level. All right. Let me play it again. See if you can tell the difference. Now, you can hear the bass. Listen, this comes with DTSX sound and 2 dedicated amplifiers. So these are by far the best speakers that I have on any device I have. Now, I got a lot of devices. Now, I got the LG V60, which has great speakers. I got the Note 11 Pro, the Redmi Note 11 Pro, great speakers, honestly, great speakers. I got my Mi 11 Ultra, great speakers again. And also I got my Galaxy Fold and my Fold 2, great speakers. All of those devices I mentioned have great speakers, but none of them is touching this device here when it comes to overall loudness and sound quality. None of them. These speakers will blow you away, especially when you're playing games. So I'll tell you right now, you will love the speakers on this device, no question about it. Next, let's talk about battery life. Now, you're getting a 6,000 milliamp hour battery on this device. Now, my moderate to heavy usage, I'm getting 2 days. 2 days. Okay. Now, with super heavy, I could get a day, day and a half still, even with heavy usage. Now, keep in mind, everybody uses their phone different. This is just my experience. Now, I got my display at 100% brightness. I'm getting all of my notifications, at real time. So my battery life is going to be different than yours. Now, if you don't keep your phone up to 100%. Plus, I'm using the 144 hertz refresh rate. Now, some of you would say that's overkill. You don't need to do that. But you have the option. You have the option to use 144, 120, 60, or auto. So you do have that option, but I'm using 144 hertz. I'm like, what's the point of even having the ability to use 144 hertz if you're not going to use it? Now, if I have the means to use something that high, I'm going to use it unless it's literally destroying my battery, which is not. If I could get with super heavy usage a day and a half and moderate to heavy 2 days, then the 144 hertz is not an issue, plus the always on display. So I'm using my phone at full throttle and I'm still getting 2 days, a day and a half to 2 days of battery life. All right. Next, let's talk about battery charging speeds. Now, this comes with the 67 watt super fast charging brick in the box, unlike other manufacturers like Samsung, Google, and Apple, which do not give you a charging brick. You're going to get a charging brick with this device along with a nice braided cable, and the charging speeds on this device is awesome. Now, keep in mind, you're dealing with a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, so the battery on here is huge, okay? And you're getting great battery life, but when it comes to the charging speeds, from 0 to 72%, 30 minutes. That's pretty great. From 0 to 72% in 30 minutes and 0 to 100% in 55 minutes. That's for a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, those are the kind of charging speeds that Google, Apple, and Samsung should be giving you on their devices because their devices cost so much more. I mean, think about this. The S22 Ultra $1,200 and you're only getting 45-watt super fast charging that takes over an hour. And you're getting a much larger battery. Though that phone is a 5,000 milliamp hour, this is 6,000, and I can fully charge this phone in under an hour. Okay, and this is not even calling itself an ultra. That phone is calling itself an ultra device, and this charges way faster. So that's one of the things I love about this device. You don't have to charge this overnight. All you got to do is get up in the morning. You just need a little less than an hour, plug it up, and you're ready to go. By the time you're ready to head out the door, you could just get out of there because this thing charges super fast. I love that. Now, keep in mind, no wireless charging, no reverse wireless charging. Now, reverse wireless charging is not the biggest deal, but it would have been nice to have wireless charging on this device. Next, I want to show you the battery charging animation. Now, this is something I really like. Other manufacturers, some like other than Samsung, because their charging animation is very, very boring. You know that, it's just a circle, and it's just a thicker circle. And that was still pretty boring to me. But check out the battery charging animation on this device. Did you see that? That is so cool. This is one of the best battery charging animations that I have on any phone that I own. That is just so cool. Let me show it to you again. That's how awesome this thing is. Now, to me, that matters. I mean, come on now. That's cool. When you plug your phone up, you want to see something that gets your juices flowing. I know it gets my juices flowing. I'm only speaking for myself. But I like that. That's something that Samsung, Google, Apple, they should be doing stuff like this. Not the most little boring circles. I mean, it's just boring. But I love that. And I think you'll love that too. Next, let's talk about this comes with the Google feed. So when you swipe left, there you got your Google feed. Okay. For those of you that likes to read all this stuff, me, it don't matter to me, honestly, because I don't have it on my Samsung devices. And that's, my Note 20 Ultra is my main device. I don't have that. So it's not a big deal to me. I use Flipboard. So for those of you that do, I mean, when I'm actually using this phone, I do from time to time slide over and read some stuff in the Google feed. But it's nice that it has it, so it's there if you want to take advantage of it. It's nice to have. Next, let's talk about the presentation. Now, I already did unboxing. I'm not going to do that again. But as you can see, the size of this box, you'd already know you're getting a charger. But when you first setting up your device and you take the phone and you scan these actually come alive. And that's so awesome. And also in here, you get a case along with the charging brick. Unlike Samsung, which charge you almost $2,000 for the Note. I mean, for the S22 Ultra, not 2,000 for that. That's 1,200, but 1,800 for the Fold 4, and they don't even give you anything in a box, and they don't even give you a nice presentation. Just a flat box with just a phone in it. And at least with a gaming phone, you're getting a really nice presentation, which you'll always remember that. Because when you open it up and you scan those things and you see them, that animation, see them come alive, you're never going to forget that when it comes to an unboxing experience. You're never going to forget that. You'll always remember that. So the presentation is awesome. That's something I've never really talked about as far as, one of the things I put in my reviews is presentation. But I had to do that because to me, it matters, and it should matter to you, especially when you're out there spending your hard-earned money. You want to feel like you're getting what you paid for, so to speak. All right. Next, let's talk about the display. Now, you're getting a 6.7-inch AMOLED display with HDR10+, 1200 nits peak brightness, and 144 hertz refresh rate. Let me say this. This display is beautiful. I'm telling you right now. It gets, now I wish it got even brighter, like 1500 nits, but it gets adequately bright. You can see it outside. But this is a beautiful, beautiful display. I mean, it really is. I mean, it really is. It's beautiful. It gets nice and bright. It's super, super smooth. You know, with that 144 hertz refresh rate, as you can see, the smoothness. I don't know if you can see that. Let me go to YouTube and do some scrolling. Now, you may not be able to tell on camera, but I mean, just can you see just how smooth that is? And when you're scrolling really fast, it just flies. I mean, seriously, this thing, this thing is crazy. I ain't never had nothing that was this smooth and that flew like this. The only one that comes close, I would say, is my OnePlus 8 Pro and my Mi 11 Ultra. Nothing else really compares. Not my Note Ultra, my Note 20 Ultra. No, 144 hertz. The smoothness of, I mean, this thing is buttery smooth. So I'm loving that 144 hertz refresh rate on this device. Now, like I said before, you can scale it down to 120 and as low as 60 hertz, and or you could put it on auto. So you do have that option. Now, also when it comes to display, you notice you have somewhat of a bezel at the top and the bottom, but you really don't have any on the sides at all. And I don't mind that because you're getting so much display to begin with. But I'd rather have that than to have a camera cutout or a notch. So I don't mind having just a little bit of bezel on the top and the bottom. That's why I always believe, even though those phones that hardly have any bezels at all look nice, they do look nice. But when you're taking away the LED, when you take away that because of that, also when you take away things like the iris sensor, because you want to have a totally bezel-less display, it's unfortunate, and you're taking away features and things that people like. So I don't mind having a little bit of bezel at the top and the bottom, but none on the sides. I'm cool with that. So that's what I like about that. No camera cutout, no notch. Next, let's talk about the cameras. Now, you got a 64 megapixel wide, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel macro. Now, keep in mind this device also shoots at 8K at 30 frames per second. Emphasis, 8K at 30 frames per second, unlike these other more expensive devices from these other companies that's only giving you 24 frames, which shake a lot and they're not as stable. But at 30 frames, you're going to get a lot more stability when you're shooting at 8K. Now, most people are not going to shoot at 8K because the file is too large and you don't have nothing to play it back on unless you have an 8K television or some type of 8K monitor. Most people are going to shoot at 4K, 1080p. Now, mostly I shoot pretty much everything in 1080p at 60, and it's beautiful. I don't really need to use 4K, honestly. 1080p at 60 is going to be a large enough file as it is, but when you start shooting anything 4K and above, you're going to go through your storage very, very fast. And keep in mind, you get no expandable storage on this device. So my suggestion is you stick with 1080p at 60 or 1080p at 30. You do not want to be shooting a lot of 4K and 8K on a device where you can't expand the storage. That's why, to me, I wish that these companies would bring back expandable storage, because it's something, you keep making these cameras so good and able to, give you better and better quality. But also with that giving you better quality, you're going to end up using more storage. So why not give us a way to expand our storage? I would appreciate that. But anyway, now on the front, you got a 24 megapixel wide selfie that shoots at 1080p at 30. So no 1080p at 60 and no 4K at 60 on the front facing camera. But I will say this about the cameras. To me, these cameras shoot really, really nice photos and nice videos for a gaming phone. Now, I know gaming phones are really not known for their cameras, but to me, these cameras are really, really good. They really are. But you could decide that for yourself. But to me, I'm impressed that these cameras are this good and for this being a gaming device. But you judge for yourself what you think of the cameras, and you could just leave your comments in the comment section. All right, quickly, let's go over the shooting modes that you get with the camera. Now, down here, you do get, let me see, you get motion tracking, you get pro video, slow motion, time lapse, video, photo, portrait, panorama, pro mode, macro, night mode. These are all the modes you get with this device. So you're not cheated as far as modes when it comes to this device. You get an adequate amount of different shooting modes with the cameras on this device. And I like that. Next, let's talk about performance. Now, this phone is using the Snapdragon 888 and Android 11. Now, this is due to get upgraded to Android 13. Now, I haven't gotten Android 12 yet, but that's fine. They could just shoot me straight to 13. I'm good with that. If they don't, take me to, if they don't take me straight to 13, they could take me to 12. It's fine. Or they could just shoot right from 11 right to 13. I'm good either way. But I'm going to be honest, I don't really care about that, honestly. I mean, to be totally honest with you, because when it comes to overall performance, this phone is so fast. It's faster than any device that I have. The only thing that comes close to the speed of this is my Mi 11 Ultra. And I would say, yeah, and then right behind that will be my OnePlus 8 Pro, then everything else after that. But this phone is so fast because of that 888 and also because of that high refresh rate. This thing is fast. I'm just telling you right now. Everything opens up so fast. Now, I'm going to prove it. I'm going to close everything. And I'm going to just open up a couple of things. You see how fast they open up. Now, to you, that may not seem fast, but that's pretty quick. Look at that. Now, some apps are going to open up slower than others anyway, regardless. But you can see everything opens up pretty quickly. It just don't take really no time. And then just, you can see how smooth everything is. I mean, everything is just so fast and silky smooth. So when it comes to overall performance on this device, you're actually going to love the performance on this device. No doubt about it. Now, let me get into all the things that I don't like, which is only 6 things, and they're not the biggest deal in the world, honestly. Now, some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, but it's okay. That's what makes it all different. We don't have to agree on the same things. You may say, well, this gaming phone that I have is better than that one. That's your opinion. Just like everything I'm saying here is based on my experience and my opinion. We don't have to agree. Okay, I don't know why every time I do certain reviews, people get on here and be like, "Oh, mine is better. This is better. That's better." That's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. I respect everybody's opinion. I don't have to agree with it, but it's your opinion. Now, I can't say that another gaming phone is better than this one because I don't have that gaming. This is the only gaming phone that I have. So, in my opinion, this is the best gaming phone that I've ever used because I've never used a gaming phone. This phone here, I have really hardly no issues with it at all. And I'm not a gamer. I didn't get this phone to game. I'm not a gamer. I got this phone for media content. Okay, that's what I like enjoying. This battery life on it is phenomenal. Display is great. The speakers will blow your mind. I love them. And the display is great. So that was my main purpose for getting this device. I love those things: the battery, the display, the performance, and the speakers. All right, so let me get into all the things that I don't like. So no expandable storage, which would have been nice, especially you're giving us, like I said, 8K capability. Expandable storage would have been nice. The always on display doesn't get that bright, which I already talked about. So that's the issue. Something they can fix, with software. If they decide to do that, they probably won't. Next, the charging port is not centered. As you can see, it's to the left as opposed to always being in the middle. I'm not sure why they chose to put it to the left. I don't know, but it should be centered. So I don't. It's hard to, sometimes it's hard to get used to that when I'm plugging in. When I'm so used to plugging it in the middle with pretty much all phones, and this one I gotta put to the left. Next, the screen sometimes can be a little too sensitive. What I mean by that, like, let me see if it'll do it while I'm on here. So say, let me pull up something. Say if I'm just casually scrolling and I'm just looking at stuff, and next thing I know, I'm just doing this, and then it'll open right up. It'll just like that. It just did it. See, I didn't do that. I'm scrolling and it automatically went into this, which I didn't do that. It just so sensitive. Just like the slightest, sometimes the slightest little touch, and I'm scrolling like this, will automatically make it go and, tap on something, and I'm not tapping. I'm just scrolling. But I'm glad y'all just seen it. I hope y'all caught it. Yeah, just scrolling like this. But you can see, once again, you can see how fast this thing moves. I mean, it's so fast. I mean, I love that. It's like when you got something that can scroll this fast, it's hard to go back to 60 hertz. I ain't gonna lie. 144 hertz. Now I know they got stuff out there that can go 165 hertz, but 144 is good for me. I mean, this thing is just crazy fast, but yeah, the display sometimes can be just a little bit too sensitive. Next, no 1080p at 60 on the front facing camera, which I just spoke about. And the last thing, no wireless charging, which I spoke about earlier too. So those are the only things that I don't like about this device, but everything else I absolutely love about this device. Now, let's talk about the software. Now, the software is really good. It's pretty well organized. Unlike Xiaomi's a little, to me, discombobulated compared to Samsung and others. So when you go in here, everything is pretty much in categories. There's no looking all over the place for things. But let me first show you a few things when it comes to the settings and things like that. And I'm gonna set this up here. It'll be easier for me to navigate. All right, so I'm gonna pull this down, show you all of these things that are available to you, which is pretty awesome. It's a lot of things that you can see. You got your mobile data, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, your sound, whether you want to hear something or have it on vibrate. I normally keep all my devices on vibrate because I get so many notifications and I would get annoyed just hearing a sound all the time. So I would definitely keep it. I usually keep it on vibrate. You got your scan or codes, hotspot, X mode. Now X mode, basically you click on that. Let me show you. And it makes this RGB light. Let me show you that. Let me go back, turn it on for you. Okay, you go to X mode. Now also, it changes the color. It changes the color of your icons. As you can see, they're all red. They got red circles around them. And also, that starts flashing. Now, not the biggest deal in the world, but it takes you into like gaming mode. So it's cool. And also that affects the refresh rate. So keep that in mind. It won't stay at 144 hertz once you turn that on. So let me go back up here. Let's talk about these different settings here. All right. So auto rotate. So you can auto rotate the screen recorder, flashlight, the refresh rate, which I said you can go from 144 all the way down to 60. And also you can put it in auto. Got airplane mode, screenshot, calculator, themes, NFC, do not disturb, air triggers, which are built into the top of this device. When you're playing certain games, you got your triggers already built into the phone. They're not actual triggers. With some gaming phones, you have the physical triggers. No, these are touch sensitive triggers built into the device. All right, so also you got location, system lighting, nearby share, which I've used. That's cool. Multi-window, night light, screencast camera, data saver, switch data sim. Oh, I forgot to mention that this has dual SIM slots. Now, I don't care about dual SIM slots. I know some people do. I would prefer to have one of them be expandable storage as opposed to just two SIMs, honestly. 5G network, glove mode. So if you have gloves on, You can basically still use this device. You just got to turn that on. Audio Wizard, where you could change the sound. Has an equalizer built in, so you could change the sound. Fan. Now the fan is something that you could actually buy if you're a heavy gamer. You can click this big fan um, on the side here, and it wraps around the back of the phone. And if you're a heavy gamer, it keeps the phone cool. Now it does have some built-in cooling, but still that fan, actually helps you keep the phone cool, especially if you're a heavy gamer. Now that fan is expensive, so you're looking at probably close to $200 for that fan if you need it. But that's up to you. I'm not a gamer like that, so I don't need it. Auto start maneuver here. Yeah, that's what that says there. Memory cleaner, scan, bedtime, focus mode, storage, sound something, I forget what that is. Phone visibility and live transcribe. So these are all the different settings that you get. That's a lot. And I like that. I just like having all of those options. Ain't nothing wrong with having a whole bunch of options. I love that. All right. Now, let's get into the settings. Now, I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can, but it's a lot. So I just ask you to be patient for those of you that are interested in this stuff and about what this phone offers. Some people are, some people are not. But I want to try to give you as much information as I can if you're considering picking up this device. Now, of course, your connected devices is the norm. I got it hooked up to my car, stuff like that. No big deal on that. So let's go to apps and notifications. So with this, as you can see, recently open apps, it displays these 3 that I've recently used. I have 206 apps on my device. Now it comes to screen time. You can see today I've been on my screen for over an hour and 38 minutes. Default apps is up here. Permission manager, special app access, conversations, mini head up notification, notifications on lock screen, sensitive notifications you can show, which I show everything. I don't have nothing to hide as far as notifications. Notification dot on app icon, notification sound. There's a lot of different sounds that you can use for notifications. As you can see, a lot of them. Do not disturb, notification history, as far as you want to use bubbles and stuff like that. You can go ahead and change that. Okay, advanced, hide silent notification and status bar, allow notification snoozing, suggested action and replies. So you got a lot of options when it comes to notifications. And also emergency broadcast. Now what that is, allow alerts, receive wireless emergency alert notifications, meaning extreme threats to life and property, that's on. Severe threats to life and property, that's on. Amber alerts, child abduction, emergency bulletins. You can use text messages, receive carrier tests, and monthly tests from the safety alert system if you want to get it tested every month just to make sure it's working properly. And also alert preferences, either vibration or you could actually have a regular sound, because I usually keep my phone on vibrate all the time. So you got that option. All right, so let's get into the next thing. Let's look at sounds and vibrations. So you got your typical things here. You got ringtones, notifications, alarm volume, media volume, call volume. You can sync volumes, as far as your ringtone and your notification volumes. Outdoor mode, basically, that's what I talked about earlier when it comes to the dual stereo speakers. If you're outside and you need to hear it better, it enhances sound volume above a certain level, suitable for outdoor use. Now, it doesn't have to be strictly for outdoor use. Now, I use the outdoor mode a lot while I'm indoors because I like my speakers to be super loud. That's just me. But you can definitely turn that off. So that's your option. As you can see, I have it turned on. So I like using it. It really makes these speakers crazy loud, especially when you're gaming. All right, complete mode, set media volume to 0 when in mute. Volume key control, media volume. Smart ringtone, so you could adjust the ringtone volume of incoming calls based on background noise levels. Media, you could show the player or you don't have to show it. Basically, I have it set up where to hide the player when the media session has ended. So when I'm done, it goes away. But you could have it where it's showing it all the time. So that's an option. Bluetooth volume control, you can use that. absolute volume, one volume control for both phone and connected Bluetooth device, or independent volumes of Bluetooth device and phone are controlled independently. So that's an option. If you use Bluetooth with this device, you can do that. You can use the Bluetooth and the phone. You can control them separately, or you can use them as one collective. Of course, you got your do not disturb, your shortcut to prevent ringing, got it on vibrate, phone ringtone, so you can go in here and you could, select a ringtone for whichever SIM you're using at the time. You got notification sound. As you can see, you could change all different type of sounds. Your effects dial, pad tones is on, screen locking sound, charging sounds, touch sounds, startup sounds. I have it to vibrate for all calls, touch vibrate, basically haptic feedback when you're sending text messages. And let me say this, the haptic feedback on this device when you're sending text messages is excellent, in my opinion. I love how it feels. When I'm sending text messages, feels really good, nice and smooth. And you could see vibration intensity. You could adjust, and I got everything up full max because that's the way I like it. So you can also adjust that as well. Storage is just your typical where you can see how much storage you've used. I've used 67%. Now this is the 256 gig model. I believe there's a 128 gig model. But you can manage your storage. I've used 173 gigs out of 256, and it tells you which ones that you use the most. Photos and videos, you can see 92 gigs. And then games, 9 gigs. And you could actually go in here and see which apps and things are taking up the most space. Let's look at battery. Now, there's a lot to get to with this battery. Now, as you can see up here, it says 73% is left, saying I'm good up until 7 a.m. tomorrow. Now, when you tap on this, it gives you a little bit more breakdown. 7 hours to go. That's what it, no, 7 hours I've been on this phone. I've been using it for 7 hours, saying I got 14 hours left. I've been using the screen for almost 3 hours, and then it'll give you all the rest of the percentages of, of the apps you've been using the most since you've had the phone on. So you go back here, apps are running normally, phone has typical background battery usage. System modes. Now I got it on dynamic. Now X mode is best. When you put that on X mode, is best. You get best performance for gaming. So when you want to game, you go into X mode and you'll get, maximum performance. All right. Now dynamic means optimized performance for daily use. That's what I use to keep it on because, like I said before, I'm not really a gamer. Ultra durable, meaning preserving power as much as possible. So say if you're out and about, your battery's getting really low, you have no way to charge it, your 67 watt charger is at home, and you want to make sure that you make it home, put it in ultra durable, and it's going to preserve as much power as possible. All right. Advanced flexible performance setting for all your needs. So if you go in here, you can basically see the breakdown. Your thermal limit, you can control that from low, medium to high. CPU's performance, low, medium, high. GPU performance, low, medium, high. RAM performance, low, medium, high. Force restriction to background CPU usage, you could change that. Regulate 5G network automatically, you could turn that on. Regulate carrier aggregation automatically activate hyperfusion. That means dynamically integrate mobile data with Wi-Fi connection to stabilize your internet connection quality. Now that's something you definitely want turned on. Force restriction to background sync, meaning prevent services with logged in accounts to automatically update data in background. You also have here automatically activate dual band Wi-Fi. So simultaneously, sorry about that word, I'm struggling, y'all. Use 2G, 4G, and 5G Wi-Fi network, increasing network stability and bandwidth. So that's something you want to turn on also. Here, with your display, set refresh rate 60 hertz, you can do that. Set system color to dark. I'm not turning that off because I'm doing 144 hertz. Set system color scheme to dark. As you can see, it's in dark mode. Screen sleep time to 30 seconds. Basically, I could, have this sleep in 30 seconds, which I have it on 10 minutes. Force turn off system lighting, force turn off always on panel. I could turn that off. Sliding sensitivity, that's meaning when I'm using the gestures. So I could put it anywhere between -2 and 2. So it means a higher value increases the sensitivity to sliding. A lower value can reduce accidental slides. So you got sliding sensitivity, sliding precision, touch sensitivity, force lower touch sample rate, force lower media volume, and force turn off touch vibration. So you get a lot of options when it comes to advanced. Now, dynamic, if you go in here, you see there's no difference. But ultra durable, if you go in there, it says retain performance level for essential system operations. Automatically prevent applications from being awakened when the screen is off. Shorten the waiting time for system hibernation and regulate 5G network to save power. That's if you really are in a bad way and you need to save power. But I usually keep it on dynamic. All right. So you got adaptive battery, limit battery usage for infrequent used apps. You can turn that on. Visual settings, you get in here. When in ultra durable mode, color status bar is in orange. Charging animation, that's if you want to see that charging animation. You can turn that off or leave it on. I'm going to leave that on, definitely. Now, battery management, low battery, power saving. You can use that. Scheduled power saving. Basically, I have this phone to shut off at 10 p.m. and wake itself back up at 5 a.m. because I usually go to bed pretty early. So, and I got a bunch of phones, so there's no need in burning it, using the battery, at those times when I'm not going to be using the phone. Here, battery kit, steady charging. Now that's cool. Steady charging. So you can charge your battery in a slow and steady pace to protect the battery. You can turn that on. Now, the only reason why I don't use that, because I'm charging this phone every other day. So it's not a big deal when I want to charge it quickly and be done. Okay. You can schedule your charging. You can do that too. So that's a nice option. And you have here select charging limit. So you can charge your phone up to 80%, 90%, or 100%. And they say set at a lower charging limit to extend battery lifespan. Now, I'll say this. I've had phones now for 2 years, and I'm still getting well over a day of battery life, and that's charging it fast all the time. So, but it's up to you. You have the option. They give you options. It's always good to have options. Now, up here, it says good, and you're probably saying, what's good? You have good charging habits. So I have good charging habits. Now, here, if you see red, it says needs attention or fair or good. I'm good. So, because I don't have to charge the phone every day. I'm charging it every other day. So my charging habits are good according to the computer. Now, power optimization, you can detect battery draining apps. You can turn that on. So if there's an app draining battery, it'll detect and let you know what it is, and you can optimize it. Auto start manager, prevent apps from auto restart to save power. You can change that. Background app management, optimize power usage through managing background apps. So they give you a lot of options when it comes to the battery to preserve it so your battery will last a lot longer. Let's take a look at the display. Now, as you can see, brightness level, I got it at 100%. You do have the option of adaptive brightness, meaning you can make your screen, it'll adjust based on your environment. I don't like adaptive battery because I always like my phone as bright as it could be. That's just me. You get the night light, will never turn off automatically. You can turn that on. Splendid. Now, this will give you the difference. And every time you change this is going to look different. So you got default. Now you could change the color temperature. You can go to natural, cinematic, standard, or customize. Where you basically, if you go to customize, you could change your color scheme down here along with your color temperature. But if you just keep it in default, it'll just stay there. But you can still adjust the color temperature. You just can't change the color scheme down here. But you could definitely still adjust the color temperature when it comes to the display. You got smart screen turn on, basically extend the screen on time while you're looking at it, holding the device upright. So as long as you're looking at the display, it'll stay on. I have the sleep in 10 minutes, auto rotation, refresh rate. I talked about that earlier. As you can see, you got auto, 144, 120. Like I said, you still can take that down all the way to 60 hertz. But I guarantee you, once you use 144 hertz, there is no way you're going to use 60 hertz on this device. There's no way. No way possible. System color scheme, I got it in dark. You could definitely put it in light, or you could use it. You could schedule auto switch, so you could have it on light mode during the day, put it on dark mode at night. So if you wake up in the morning, it's already in dark mode, and it's not going to blind you. Power button menu. Basically, it gives you how your when you go to power it off, how it's going to look. You can change it to four different schemes. You can use elegant and classical. It's a whole lot of stuff which I think is not necessary. I just do colorful. I keep it simple. You got your font style, your display size, font size again, animation speed. Now this is kind of cool. Now usually when you see window animation scale, transition animation scale, animation duration scale, that's something you got to go in and hit developer options. You got to go and developer options and bring that up. And you got to you don't do it much. You just got to go in there, and I forgot how you do it because I haven't did it in so long. But with this device, you don't have to do that. It takes you straight to it, and you could have the phone even go operate even faster, or you could have it slow down a little bit with the animations to enjoy them more. Now I have everything set at default. One. I'm good with that. I don't need anything to go any faster. This phone is fast enough for me. But if you want things to be faster, if you don't even want any animation, you got that option to do that without going in to developer options. All right, so you got app scaling, status bar, icon manager, system navigation. That's basically gestures or buttons. I like gestures. I think most people use gestures these days. Quick setting layout, one-handed mode, always on display. Let's go in there real quick. So you see when to display. I got it display all the time, but you can set it to display by time. So if you don't want it on all day, if you want to conserve battery, you could go in there and set it by a time. Okay. So basically you could go by time and have your always display be on at night. Sit this thing on a stand. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, you could just look over and see the time and see if you have any missed notifications and things like that. But I keep it on all the time. Now here you go in the clock style. You're going to get a few options here. You're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 7 different options here, which are always on display. This is another one I haven't used yet. The one I was using the most was this one. Because I felt like I could see it a little bit more, but right now I'm using this one. Because, when it does light up, it's pretty bright. You can see it's the largest one out of all of them. So I'm going to stick with that one for right now. All right, you got lift to check the phone. Basically, if you turn that on, so every time you lift the phone up, automatically it's going to light up and you'll see your notifications and things like that. And if you set up face unlock with it, as soon as you raise the phone up to your face, it's going to automatically unlock the phone, take you right to your home screen. You don't even have to touch the fingerprint sensor because you won't get a chance to. That's how accurate the face unlock is. So once you lift the weight, it's gonna open your phone immediately. You'll never get a chance to use the fingerprint sensor. So if you want to use your fingerprint sensor all the time, turn your lift to check the phone. You could turn that off, or you could turn off the face unlock. If you don't want to use both at the same time. All right, now this I'm gonna turn that off because this didn't really wake the screen like I thought. Here it says new notifications. Wake the screen when you receive a notification. You could just barely see it when I got the notification. So it really didn't wake the screen to the point where you could actually see what the notification is. Excuse me. So that really doesn't work for me because it's not bright enough for you to know what it is, honestly. So I turn that off. You got screensaver. I got that turned off. LED indicator. See right here, this is what I was using before. Light up when charging, flash when notifications arrive. So I keep that on. I missed that. That's something that the Samsung used to have on their device. They removed it. Themes and wallpapers. So you got a theme store. You basically got a theme store. You can go in here and you can buy some of these. Some of them are going to be free, but you do have that option. These are my themes that automatically come with the phone. Wallpapers. Now I'm using 4K wallpapers. I just went in that. Sorry, wallpaper slideshow. Now basically, I have, your default list. You can download more. These are the ones that come with the phone. You can download more. You may have to pay for them, but you can download more. Basically, every time you turn off the phone and turn on, you're gonna see a different lock screen. As you can see, every single time you're gonna see a different lock screen. All right. All right. So that's it for that. Then you got your privacy, permission, account activity, personal data. You can go in here and, have stuff autofill for Google services, permission manager, show password, Google location history. You can go ahead and tweak all this stuff if you want. Location, whatever apps you don't want to know what your location is, you could just turn that off if you want for your own privacy. Security and lock screen, basically fingerprint face unlock. Advanced, basically mobile manager, game genie. You can have twin apps, so two apps are the same thing. Safeguard, basically SOS. If you get in trouble, you can have your phone, you could hit it a certain way and a message will go to the people that are most important to you, and it'll automatically give them your location so they'll know where to come to get you. OptiFlex, you go in here, basically accelerates apps, launches, reduces app reloads, and saves power on standby. So if you really want to speed up how fast your phone open up certain apps, you can go in here and turn, I think, about 20 of them. You can use 20 of them and turn them on. Now, you could have it set for auto. It will select it based on app usage, so it'll only turn up fast the ones that you use on a regular basis. But you can go in here and turn it up to 20, and they'll even load even faster. Okay. Here, of course, you got your gestures. So you got flip to check the phone, flip down to mute it, hands up, lift device to your ear to answer. You could do that. Double tap to suspend, to turn off the screen. Double tap to turn on the screen. Swipe up to wake up. Your music controls. And you get these gestures. So a W, you can lose the launch app for your weather. S to launch camera. E to launch your clock. M to launch camera. Z to launch gallery. V to launch phone. Now, I'm not sure if you could actually change these. You may be able to. I don't remember. I haven't used these yet, but it's something I'll have to get into one of these days if I, remember it's on here. Now, quick launch camera, I have it set for 2 clicks. I got my air triggers. They're always on in case I need them. You got your screen recorder, screenshot. You got your pocket mode. This prevents the screen from reacting accidentally while the device is inside your pocket or your bag. And you got glove mode, increased touch sensitivity when wearing gloves. You got your account accessibilities, for people that have, issues seeing different things. You can go in here, you can add more things, like you got app lock, edge lighting, link to Windows, live transcribe, Nova Launcher screenshot, select to speak, notifications, switch access, talk back. I mean, it's just so much stuff in here. Like, if I don't want to go too much long because this video is already long enough as it is. And your digital well-being, your parental controls, your Google services, your system, and your support. So the phone is loaded with so many different features, options, things that you can change. The phone here, I'm telling you, the phone is great. Let me show you real quick how the display looks when you're playing a movie, for those of you that are still watching. I do appreciate it. Now, I got this set. I don't like that. I like the fill. Even if it's going to cut half of their head off, I want my screen to be completely full so I can see it. Now, this display is beautiful. You can crank the brightness all the way up. It gets adequately bright. You can see I'm a Trekkie. So, I'm going to tell you right now, I highly recommend this device. For those of you that stuck around this long, I do appreciate it. But it's hard to really tell you about all the things that this phone can do unless I actually go into the settings. Now, something I didn't do, and I'm sorry, I apologize. I'll show you one game, what one game looks like. Let me see. Let me go into, let me do Asphalt, because I know that's something popular. For those of you that are still sticking around, turn up the volume so you can hear how crazy loud these speakers are.
Showing living by the G code. What is fleek though? Don't ask them, what do we know? What I forgot is better than whatever they remember. Never mind.
You can hear these speakers. These speakers are ridiculous. So loud. Now, I'm not that great at this because I don't play this game. At least I won. But you can hear how loud those speakers are. You're not going to have any problem with this device with gaming. You're going to love it. So thank you all for taking the time to view this content. I really do appreciate it. Hope everybody out there is staying safe and staying well. And I'll check you guys out in the next one. This is my full review of the ROG 5. Peace.